You are weary, you are burdened, you are overwhelmed by the weight of life, the pressures of work, the demands of relationships, the uncertainties of the future. They all press down upon you. You find yourself striving, struggling, trying to control every aspect of your existence, believing that if you just work harder, plan better, or worry more, you can somehow manage it all. But the harder you try, the more elusive peace becomes. Let me tell you something, you cannot control everything. There are forces at work in this world that are beyond your comprehension, beyond your ability to influence. You cannot control the weather, the economy, the actions of others, or even the course of your own health. You cannot control the past, the future, or the circumstances that arise in your life. And yet, you continue to strive, to grasp, to hold on, as if your efforts alone can change the course of events. But here's the truth, your striving is in vain, your efforts, though sincere, are insufficient. You are like a child trying to move a mountain with his bare hands. You cannot do it, so what are you to do? Should you resign yourself to despair? Should you give up and let life happen to you? No, there is another way. You must surrender. You must relinquish control and place your trust in the one who holds all things in his hands. You must acknowledge that you are not the master of your fate, but a servant to the will of God. This is not a call to passivity. It is not an invitation to sit idly by and let life unfold without purpose or direction. No, this is a call to active surrender, a trust in God's sovereignty and to seek His guidance in all things. It is a call to acknowledge that while you cannot control everything, you can control how you respond to the challenges and uncertainties of life. When you surrender control to God, you are not abandoning responsibility. Rather, you are acknowledging that your strength, wisdom, and understanding are limited. You are recognizing that you need God's help, His guidance, and His grace to navigate the complexities of life. This surrender is not a one-time event. It is a daily choice, a moment-by-moment decision to trust in God's plan and to submit to His will. It is a willingness to let go of your own desires, your own plans, and to embrace God's purpose for your life. And when you do this, when you surrender control to God, something remarkable happens. You find peace, you find rest, you find the strength to face each day with courage and hope. You find that God is faithful, that He is trustworthy, and that He will never leave you nor forsake you. But this peace, this rest, is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God in the midst of trouble. It is the assurance that no matter what happens, God is with you, guiding you, sustaining you. So I urge you, do not continue in your striving. Do not continue in your attempts to control what is beyond your control. Instead, surrender, place your trust in God, acknowledge His sovereignty, and submit to His will. And when you do, you will find that He is faithful. He will provide for you. He will guide you. He will give you the strength you need to face each day. He will give you peace that surpasses all understanding. So I ask you, will you surrender? Will you trust? Will you let go and let God handle what you cannot control? The choice is yours. But know this, in surrender there is freedom. In trust there is peace. In letting go there is life. The speech emphasizes the hard truth that human beings are limited in strength, wisdom, and understanding. Trying to control everything, life, circumstances, people, leads only to weariness and futility. Recognizing this limitation is the first step toward true freedom. Surrendering control is not passive or lazy. It's a radical, active act of faith. It means daily, intentionally yielding to the sovereignty of God and trusting His will above our own. This is not resignation, it's obedience. True peace doesn't come from manipulating outcomes. It comes from trusting in the one who holds all things together. This trust is not a one-time act, but a moment-by-moment dependence on God's character and promises. When you stop striving to control what you cannot, and instead place your faith where it belongs, you experience freedom, not from hardship, but from anxiety. Rest is not the absence of chaos, but the presence of God in the middle of it. These points reflect the weighty, earnest tone typical of Paul Washer's preaching, calling people not just to feel better, but to live differently under the authority of a sovereign God. You have come to a point in life where the illusion of control has been shattered. Maybe it was a sudden blow, a loss, a failure, an unexpected hardship that exposed the frailty of your hold over things. Or maybe it has been a slow, grinding realization that no matter how much you plan, prepare, or strive, the world does not bend to your will. The truth that you are not in control is hard, bitter, and often rejected by the flesh. Yet, it is a truth that every soul must come to grips with if it desires peace. From the moment we wake until the moment we sleep, we think we are the masters of our fate. We chart courses for our days, we make lists, set goals, make decisions, and push forward as if our will alone can shape what comes to pass. But the reality is that life is a series of variables beyond our influence. Your health can fail, your relationships can fracture, the economy can crash, natural disasters can strike, and people's hearts can harden or break. None of these can be controlled by your effort, your will, or your knowledge. In fact, the more you try to hold tightly to control, the more you tighten the noose around your own neck. Anxiety, frustration, despair, they become your constant companions. The relentless effort to manipulate circumstances to your liking consumes your mind, steals your joy, and leaves you exhausted. You have been fooled into thinking that control equals security, but all you have found is bondage. Why is it that the desire for control is so strong? Because the human heart was made for security and certainty. We crave stability because we are fragile creatures, prone to fear, but the desire to control is a false hope, a counterfeit security that can never deliver. It is a cage built from your own hands. You were never meant to be the one who holds the reins to the entire world's affairs. That burden is too heavy, the task too great, the wisdom too vast. Yet pride whispers to you, if only you could manage this, if only you could direct that, then all would be well. This pride blinds you, causing you to trust in your own understanding rather than the reality of your limits. It causes you to fight battles you cannot win, leading to brokenness. This is the danger of self-reliance, putting your confidence in your own strength and insight rather than recognizing your utter dependence on something greater. Recognizing that you are not in control is a humbling process. It means admitting your powerlessness and surrendering your desire to dictate every outcome. This is terrifying because it means relinquishing the illusion of self-sufficiency. It means admitting you need real help, and this need points you to a power and wisdom beyond yourself, a sovereignty that governs all things according to a perfect will. This is not a call to despair or passivity, but a call to honest confrontation with reality. You are not in control, and that is not a failure but a fact. Accepting this fact brings freedom, freedom from the exhausting burden of trying to manage the uncontrollable, freedom from the anxiety of uncertainty, freedom from the need to justify your existence by your achievements and plans. It is a call to place your trust where it belongs, not in your own abilities, but in the one who holds all things together. This one is not distant or indifferent, but intimately involved, capable of ordering the chaos of your life with infinite wisdom and love. To trust this one is to lay down your weapons of control and to rest in the knowledge that what you cannot manage is not lost or forgotten, but held securely in the hands of the Creator. You will find that when you accept that you are not in control, you begin to see life differently. You begin to let go of the relentless need to orchestrate every detail. You stop beating yourself up for what is beyond your influence. Instead of fear and frustration, you begin to experience peace and rest. This peace does not mean the absence of trouble. It means the presence of a steady hand guiding you through it. You come to understand that control is not the measure of your security. Your security lies in the unchanging character of the one who reigns over all. This realization transforms your heart and mind, teaching you patience amid trials, humility amid success, and hope amid despair. The struggle to control is the struggle to trust. When you say, "I am not in control," you are not declaring defeat. You are declaring faith. Faith that the unseen hand orchestrates all things for good, even when circumstances seem chaotic and unfair. This faith releases you from the tyranny of your own efforts and opens the door to divine peace. In this release, your perspective shifts. Instead of seeing obstacles as threats, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth, dependence, and refinement. Instead of clinging to certainty, you embrace mystery with hope. Instead of being ruled by fear of what may happen, you rest in the assurance that nothing escapes the sovereign will. This truth is not easy to live by, and it will often require you to fight against your own nature. But it is the path to true freedom. It is the way to live a life unshackled by the need to control, anchored instead in the confidence that what cannot be controlled is being governed with perfect wisdom and love. You have been trying to be God in your own life, but the sooner you recognize that you are not, the sooner you will find peace. You will cease to be a slave to your circumstances and become a child resting in a father's care. This is the freedom you long for, a freedom that does not depend on your ability to manage life's storms, but on your willingness to trust the one who calms them. Your heart was made for more than striving and controlling. It was made for trusting and resting. When you let go of the illusion of control, you open your hands to receive grace. You make space for peace. You discover strength beyond your own. So embrace your limitations. Stop fighting what you cannot change. Lay down the burden of control and find rest in the hands that hold the whole world. It is not weakness to admit you are not in control. It is wisdom. It is the beginning of a journey from fear to faith, from chaos to peace, from striving to rest. And that journey is the path to life. The idea of surrender is often misunderstood, twisted by the world into a symbol of weakness, defeat, or resignation. But true surrender, deep, authentic surrender, is none of these things. It is not the act of giving up because you lack strength, nor is it passive acceptance of whatever life throws at you. Instead, surrender is the highest form of strength, the deepest expression of faith, the boldest act of trust one can make in the face of uncertainty and struggle. When you surrender what you cannot control, you are not ceding power out of helplessness. You are, paradoxically, taking hold of a greater power by relinquishing your claim to lesser things. It is a conscious choice, an intentional act, a daily posture of the heart that says, "I will not be mastered by fear, by anxiety, by the chaos around me. I will place my confidence in the one who rules over all." This kind of surrender requires humility. It means admitting that you do not have all the answers, that your understanding is limited, that your strength is insufficient. It means acknowledging that the weight of life's challenges is too heavy to bear alone. This humility is not defeat but wisdom. It is the recognition that to rely on your own strength is to build on shifting sand. Surrender is the breaking down of the pride that insists, I can do this on my own. It is the dismantling of the illusion that control is the path to safety and success. When you surrender, you break free from the exhausting cycle of trying to manipulate outcomes and instead embrace the freedom that comes from trusting the one who holds the universe together. The world teaches us to fight for control, to grab hold, and never let go. But surrender is a revolution against this worldly wisdom. It is saying, I will not fight alone. I will not bear this burden by myself. Surrender is the recognition that there is a sovereign hand that governs all things, and it is far wiser and stronger than any plan you could devise. This surrender is not a one-time event, but a daily, moment-by-moment decision. It is choosing to trust when fear threatens to overwhelm you, to release your grip when anxiety tries to strangle your soul, to rest when the pressures of life push you to exhaustion. Each day you lay down the weapons of control and pick up the shield of faith. Faith is inseparable from surrender. You cannot truly surrender without faith, for surrender demands trust in something beyond yourself. It demands belief that the one you yield to is both able and willing to care for you, to guide you, to provide for you, even when circumstances seem confusing or hostile. This faith is not blind optimism. It is not a naive hope that everything will be easy or pleasant. It is a confident trust grounded in the character of God, in His promises, in His history of faithfulness. It is the firm assurance that even when the path is dark, you are not walking alone. When you surrender with faith, you discover a peace that surpasses understanding. This peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of God's steadfast love amid trials. It is the calm in the storm, the anchor in the tempest. It is the deep assurance that no matter how chaotic life becomes, the one you trust is sovereign. This surrender transforms how you live. It changes your response to suffering, to disappointment, to uncertainty. Instead of fighting against reality or spiraling into despair, you learn to yield with grace, to accept with hope, to wait with patience. Moreover, surrender is not about inactivity or passivity. It is an active trust, a trust that works itself out in obedience. When you surrender, you do not give up on doing good, on seeking wisdom, on working diligently. Rather, you do these things with a different heart, a heart free from the desperation to control, free to act in faith, free to serve without the burden of anxiety. Surrender is also a call to rest. It is an invitation to lay down the burdens of trying to fix what is broken, to stop striving to force outcomes, and to rest in the assurance that what cannot be controlled is not left to chance, but held by a sovereign hand. This rest is not weakness, it is strength renewed. Many have learned this truth the hard way through trials, through loss, through seasons of feeling powerless. They have discovered that surrender is the door to freedom, that letting go of control is not the end, but the beginning of true life. It is in surrender that they find clarity, courage, and a new kind of strength. This strength does not come from within, but from reliance on the one who holds all things together. It is a strength born of faith, nurtured in humility, and sustained by grace. It is the strength to endure hardship without bitterness, to face uncertainty without fear, to love without condition. When you embrace surrender as an act of faith, you align yourself with a divine purpose that transcends your limited vision. You participate in a greater story, a story of redemption, hope, and restoration. This story invites you not to control the narrative, but to trust the author. Surrender also teaches you dependence. It reminds you that you were never meant to carry the weight of the world alone. Dependence on God is not a mark of weakness, but a testimony to His greatness. It frees you from self-reliance and opens your heart to receive His strength. In surrender, pride is dethroned and replaced by worship. You acknowledge that control belongs to one who is holy, just, and loving. This acknowledgement leads to gratitude, peace, and joy, even in the midst of difficulty. The process of surrender can be painful. It means dying to your own desires and plans. It means trusting when you do not understand. It means waiting when you want to act. But this pain is not meaningless. It is the refining fire that produces perseverance, character, and hope. Surrender is the posture of the believer who knows that ultimate control belongs to God alone. It is the heartbeat of faith that beats steady in the chaos. It is the light that shines in the darkness, guiding steps and calming fears. Therefore, surrender is not weakness. It is the bravest, most faithful response you can make to life's uncertainties. It is the declaration that you trust in a power greater than your circumstances, greater than your fears, greater than yourself. In this surrender, you find true strength. You find a peace that the world cannot give. You find a hope that cannot be shaken. And you discover the fullness of life that comes not from controlling your world, but from trusting the one who controls it all. There is a deep longing in the human heart for peace, a peace that calms the storms within, a peace that settles the restless mind, a peace that fills the soul with quiet assurance. Yet, so many chase peace in all the wrong places, believing it will come through control. They think if they can just manage the details, orchestrate the outcomes, and steer life's course to their liking, then peace will follow. But this is a deception that has led many down a path of frustration, anxiety, and despair. The truth is that peace does not come through control. Peace is not the fruit of mastery over circumstances, but the fruit of trust in one who is sovereign over all circumstances. The desire to control is natural, yes, but it is a counterfeit peace, a fragile illusion easily shattered by the unpredictable nature of life. Consider the countless times you have tried to control a situation only to find it slipping through your fingers. Maybe you attempted to fix a broken relationship only for it to worsen. Perhaps you tried to secure your future financially only to face unexpected loss. You planned meticulously for your health, your career, your family, yet storms arose that were beyond your influence. This experience is universal. The harder you grasp, the more things elude your hold. This is because control is finite and fragile. It depends on your strength, knowledge, and circumstances, all of which are limited and changing. You cannot control the decisions of others, the twists of fate, or the trials that come unbidden. No matter how much you try, control is not yours to keep. Trust, on the other hand, is boundless and unshakable when rightly placed. Trust in the one who governs the universe brings a peace that surpasses human understanding. This peace does not deny the existence of trouble, but embraces the assurance that every circumstance is held in sovereign hands. It whispers to the anxious heart, "You are not alone. There is one who cares and guides." Trust is the antidote to anxiety born of the illusion of control. When you trust, you relinquish the burden of micromanaging life's uncontrollable details. You stop trying to force outcomes and begin to rest in the knowledge that all things work together according to a divine plan. This trust is not passive resignation. It is an active confidence that enables you to face uncertainty without despair. The Scriptures are filled with calls to trust rather than rely on self or circumstances. Trust is portrayed as the foundation of peace. When trust is absent, fear and worry rush in. But where trust takes root, peace blooms even amid hardship. This is because trust looks beyond the present moment to the eternal nature and promises of God. Trust is not built in a day. It grows through experience, through seeing faithfulness in the small things, through walking faithfully in seasons of trial. Each time you trust instead of control, your peace deepens. Each time you surrender a worry or fear, you take a step away from anxiety and toward rest. When you trust, you acknowledge your limitations and the limitations of control. You recognize that your understanding is finite and that your perspective is narrow. Trust is a humble admission that you need guidance beyond your own. This humility opens the door for divine peace to enter. Moreover, trust reorients your heart. Instead of living in fear of what might happen, you live in confident hope. Instead of scrambling to manipulate outcomes, you wait patiently on the Lord. Instead of reacting with panic or despair, you respond with faith and calm. Peace born of trust is not superficial. It is not the fleeting quiet that comes when all is going well. It is the deep, abiding rest that remains when troubles surround you. It is the inner calm that defies circumstances. It is a peace that guards your heart and mind, keeping you steady in storms. The pursuit of control often leads to frustration because the world is unpredictable. People disappoint, plans fail, and chaos arises. Trying to control these things is like trying to hold water in your fist. It slips away no matter how tightly you squeeze. But trust places your hand in a firm grip, the grip of one who will not let you go. Trust also frees you to live fully in the present. When you are obsessed with control, you are trapped in fear of the future or regret of the past. Trust pulls you back to the present moment, where God's grace is sufficient. It allows you to appreciate the blessings around you and to face the day without dread. This trust grows through prayer, through meditation on the promises of God, and through obedience. It is nurtured in community and encouraged by the testimony of faith-filled lives. Trust is both a gift and a discipline, a mystery and a choice. In trusting, you align yourself with a reality greater than your fears and struggles. You anchor your soul in the immovable foundation of God's faithfulness. You let go of the illusion that you must control every detail and embrace the truth that your life is held by a loving hand. The peace that comes through trust is transformative. It changes how you face challenges, how you relate to others, and how you understand your own journey. It replaces anxiety with hope, despair with joy, and turmoil with calm. This peace is a witness to others. In a world obsessed with control and consumed by anxiety, a trusting heart stands out. It points others to the source of peace and invites them to experience the same freedom. Therefore, seek not peace through control, for it will fail you. Seek peace through trust, and you will find a peace that endures. Trust the one who is able to do immeasurably more than you ask or imagine. Trust the one who holds all things together. Trust the one who loves you beyond measure. In this trust, you will discover rest for your soul, strength for your days, and peace that will guard your heart and mind. The struggle to control will fade, and in its place will rise a confidence born not of your own power, but of the one who is sovereign over all. The human heart longs for freedom and rest, yet so many search for these treasures in all the wrong places. They seek freedom from circumstances, from people, from their own fears and failures by grasping tighter, controlling more, and striving harder. But the truth is that genuine freedom and rest are not found in control, nor in frantic effort, but in surrender. True freedom and rest arise when you relinquish your grip on what you cannot hold and lay down the heavy burden of self-reliance to trust in a power far greater than yourself. Surrender is often misunderstood, even feared, because it appears to require giving up something valuable, autonomy, security, or ambition. But real surrender is not loss, it is gain. It is the opening of your hands to receive grace and peace instead of holding clenched fists full of anxiety and frustration. It is the paradox that to truly live, you must first die to your illusions of control. When you try to control life's many variables, you are bound. You become a slave to your plans, to your fears, to your expectations. Every unmet desire, every unforeseen setback, every disappointment tightens the chains. The harder you fight to hold on, the heavier the weight becomes. This ceaseless striving exhausts the soul, drains joy, and leaves you restless, always grasping for more but never fully free. Rest is what the soul cries out for, a deep, lasting peace that the world cannot give. But rest is not found in sleep alone, nor in brief escapes from reality. True rest is a spiritual condition that arises when the heart trusts and surrenders. It is a rest that comes when you cease striving to control and begin trusting the one who controls all. Surrender is the gateway to this rest. It is the act of letting go of your fears, your plans, your insistence that life bend to your will. This letting go is not weakness but strength, a courageous choice to step off the exhausting treadmill of self-reliance and place your confidence where it belongs. In surrender, you acknowledge your limitations and embrace your dependence. This is not a defeat but a victory over pride. Pride insists, I must do this myself. Surrender replies, I cannot, but I trust the one who can. This acknowledgement frees you from the illusion that you are the master of your fate and opens your heart to receive divine strength. When you surrender, you enter into a relationship marked by trust and peace rather than control and anxiety. You discover that the power to live freely and restfully is not in your own hands, but in the hands of the one who holds the universe. This realization lifts the heavy burden and replaces it with lightness of heart. Freedom found in surrender is freedom from fear. Fear often arises from uncertainty and the desire to control outcomes. When you surrender, you relinquish the need to know and control everything, and this frees you from fear's grip. You learn to trust the unseen hand that guides your life, even when the path is unclear. This freedom also releases you from the tyranny of others' opinions and expectations. When you seek control, you often try to shape how others see you, how situations unfold, and how life should be. Surrender liberates you from this exhausting need, allowing you to live authentically and at peace with yourself. Rest that comes through surrender is a profound spiritual rest. It is the rest Jesus invites us to when he says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." This rest is not merely physical, but soul, deep. It refreshes, renews, and sustains through life's challenges. You find this rest not by escaping from problems, but by facing them with a surrendered heart. When you stop fighting to control everything, you conserve your strength and can endure trials with a calm spirit. This rest strengthens your faith and anchors your hope. Surrender does not mean inactivity. It means active trust. It means working and striving, but without the burden of control. You labor with a heart at peace, knowing that the ultimate outcome is in the hands of the Sovereign One. This trust transforms your work from a source of stress into a source of joy. Living in surrender also cultivates patience. Control desires immediate results and fears delays. Surrender waits, confident in divine timing. This patience is not passive resignation, but hopeful expectation, a confident waiting rooted in trust. In surrender, you also experience joy, the joy of freedom from anxiety, the joy of peace amid trials, the joy of walking in alignment with a loving and wise God. This joy sustains the soul through difficulties and shines as a testimony to others. The journey to freedom and rest through surrender is not always easy. It often involves struggle, pain, and growth. You must wrestle with pride, fear, and doubt. You must learn daily to let go and trust anew. But this journey is worth every step because it leads to life. When you surrender, you are not giving up your life. You are gaining a fuller life. You are not losing control. You are gaining peace. You are not weakening. You are strengthened by grace. This is the mystery and beauty of surrender. It brings freedom and rest where striving brought only bondage and exhaustion. Therefore, do not cling to what you cannot hold. Do not fight battles meant for another. Lay down your burdens and rest in the hands that hold the world. Freedom and rest are found not in control, but in surrender.